My name is Anna, and Anna is also presenting with me today. So
It's a
you
common
can
name here.
go ahead and start.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank climate students for inviting us to be here today. And it's an honor for us to be able to speak here. And as it's been said, Isha, if you can change the slide, please. Oh, thank you. Before I start talking about Uniclima as itself, I would like to contextualize briefly the current conjuncture of your country in terms of education, environment, and activism. Even though we are facing the same problem, the main problem, that is the climate crisis, each country has its particularities. So we want to bring some of this particularity of a country. So as you can see by the presentation, in terms of education, only 5% of the total population concludes the undergraduation. And if you focus only on the population aged from 18 to 24, we see that just 8.1% is enrolled at higher education institution. Therefore, you can consider higher education as something that just a small part of society has access to. Environment-wise, there are some data that illustrate the degradation and the lack of measures being taken. For instance, Brazil occupies the 60th position between the largest greenhouse gases emitters, being responsible by 3.2% of the global total emission. And besides that, the deforestation area of Brazil Amazon increased by over 20% in 2021 when it's compared to previous years. And how those numbers affect society? We have to consider that minorities are more exposed to effects of climate change. And in a country marked by racism like Brazil, Black people are in vulnerable situation, which is aggravated by the climate crisis. Other point is Brazil has a high rate of murders of indigenous people, which is related to the illegal gold extraction and the expansion of industrial agriculture and the meat industry. Not only indigenous people are being murdered. Brazil is considered one of the most dangerous countries for environmentalists and land rights activists, ranking the third position in the number of homicides of those individuals. The worst part of this is that the people responsible by those crimes are within our national Congress. They are also politicians who occupy the role of decision makers. So, that's a sad and brief context of your current situation.
You can go to the next slide, Isha. So I'm pretty sure most of you have heard about Bruno and Dom Phillips, the journalists and the indigenous scientists that were murdered here in Brazil this year. They were we didn't know about where they were. They were kidnapped and slaughtered and tortured and murdered. So people that are trying to make Brazil better are being constantly attacked there's so much violence in so many institutions. I don't know if you know Dorothy Stang, but she was a religious woman that wanted to support indigenous people, and she was also killed. Here are some people of the most recent were most recently killed here in Brazil. You can, next slide, please. So guys, quickly, how we began. So I told you on the chat earlier that Uniclima started after we met the climate students movement on the conference they did on 2020. And we got so inspired, and considering this, that Anna said before, that higher education is a privilege, we also think that knowledge is only power if you use it to change the world, to make the world better. So people in position of power are capable of enacting change, and most of them have a higher education degree. And we know that a higher education degree is a privilege that comes with responsibilities. So changes within the university in the curricular level can propagate change. So when people go to the job market, they will have the sustainability mindset, not the fossil fuel mindset. And we think that universities should deliver to the job market people that are environmentally aware and capable to act like it. So in addition, we think that investment in environmental education, climate education is a long-term policy, long-term climate policy. Next slide, please, Isha. So Uniclima has gone really far. We are almost 2 years old, but we have faced real struggles. We think that the lack of officialization, because the university is really bureaucratic and really hard for us to get recognition. So the communication with our course coordinator is really bad. It's really hard to reach them, and then to be officialized. And this affects the engagement of the members, because they don't have like recognition for their work. They don't have like hours of certificated hours of contribution to Uniclima, and that really makes people, it's harder for people to contribute if they don't have a payback. So the lack of officialization has really made it difficult for us to implement some projects, as the climate perception survey and the letter of commitment, of climate commitment we wrote on 2021, because teachers and heads of departments didn't want to sign the letter because we aren't an organization recognized by the university. So we keep, there are some stones in our way, but we are trying to solve them. Next slide, and then I go ahead.
So we now are talking about our strategies, and our major strategy is to engage students to join the Climate Action Network. So in the other words, transform them into climate leaders, transformative agents. And one of the ways we do that is using social media as a tool for dissemination of knowledge and awareness. Another strategy is using the fact that your university is the biggest Catholic university as a reason to follow the precepts of Laudato Si. Laudato Si is a document written by the Pope, in which he proposed mobilization in order to combat the environmental degradation and establish a new form of development. And he says something about the earth being our common house. And because of that, you need to take care of that and everything. And even though we are not bound to any religion, we are not a religious institution, it's a good strategy, since I talked before, your university is a Catholic institution. So you use that as a way to convince them to take some measures. And we also use those international rankings to say, oh, if you guys take this kind of measure, if you, for example, make us an official organization and things like that, it can help the university reach a good position in those international rankings. And it's good for its reputation and everything. So it's another strategy you use. We always advocate for that. And lately, but not least, we are in process of changing our internal structure. Because I will say it later, but we are become an academic league, so you need to fit in its molds. For example, we are piecing together the boards and the administration working group as one whole organ, because it fits better to what our academic league is. So please, Isha, if you can. Yeah, thank you. And in regards to our achievements, you can mention a recent partnership with Sustainable University, which is a project from your university that focuses on agroecology and environment education. I take part of that as well because of this partnership. So, for example, they invite us to write an article who will be published in their book, and we gain some, you achieve things with that partnership. That's why I mean. And as I said before, we are trying to officialize Uniclima as an academic league, and we choose to follow this path because it's easy and effective way to be recognized by your university and department. What is an academic league? Shortly, is a junction of education, research, and extension projects, so you have a wide range of action. And it's kind of sum up what Uniclima already is, what we are already doing. So it was an easy way. You don't need to make a whole change on our structure to fit on that. And the letter of climate commitment that Anna mentioned before, in which we propose some sustainable measures to be taken by university. We finished that, but as she said, the teachers don't want to sign that because we are not an official organization. So, and
we're working on it.
Huh?
We're working on it.
Yeah, as well in the officialization. It's still in progress. And last year, we are partner of the TEDx Savas Climate Hackathon, an event in which the participants had to come up with a solution related to sustainability in a short amount of time. And besides that event also counted with panelists and workshop for the participants. So yeah, which was amazing. I take part of that before being a Uniclima member. So yeah, I think I can talk about that. Yeah, what was amazing. I can give my opinion about that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so about the future, we are currently
that's me.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Go ahead. No problem, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, guys.
I think we have to pace up so we don't run out of time.
Yeah. So yeah, you are developing our action plan to set up the action you must take and how you must organize yourself in order to achieve your goals. And you want to establish a green office, and within the green office, a sustainable observatory that will be a project that seek tracking our university greenhouse gas emission and what measures the university are taking in terms of environment and how climate change has been approached in disciplines and different courses. So that's what you're aiming with that project. We want to launch a climate student training to reach empowered other university to join the Climate Action Network and develop their own initiatives. So it's like a workshop. Not exactly, but you want to give our experience. And yeah, I would too say it's a workshop. Yeah, it can be characterized like that. And we want to launch Instagram Lives. It's something we did before. What is bring some personalities as a speaker of subjects related to climate change. So we set a date, and within that week, we invite those personalities to come talk about the experience, to share some knowledge. So that's another plan for the future is something they already did, but we want to do that again.
Go ahead, Isha, please. Yeah. Okay, you can skip that a little. You can skip that. That's Gringo Dictionary. If you don't follow, please follow it. It's a Brazilian page of humor, and you can follow that. I'll send you on the chat. But to end, we're almost finishing. We have some advice for you that were really important for us along the way. Always leave meetings with tasks and directments, because when we see a meeting, we have the preparation before the meeting and the follow-up after the meeting, and that's really important for you to get somewhere, even if it is an internal or external meeting. Also, having partners is essential. The Sustainable University Project has really supported us, and it is a initiative from the biological department, and we are from the social department. So those connections are really important. And also do onboarding sessions with new members, because sometimes people want to help, but they don't know how. So it's really important that they know the possibilities of helping you in your organization. Be polite with your request, but be firm. You know, I think we are facing a huge problem and we have to take responsibility for it. And we have to be firm, you know, with what we want, because it's not time to commit. Having documents to register your partnerships, like if you are being partner with another organization, sometimes it's important to establish your rights and your responsibilities, you know, so things don't get messy on the way. And also value those who values you. Sometimes we were stuck trying to reach out someone that was completely ignoring us, but there were some amazing people that were really interested in helping us and supporting our work. So we have to value people that are interested in what we're doing and can take us further. Go on, Nisha. Okay, so what climate students have helped us in all this, besides inspiring our creation, Uniclima's creation? The workshops have always been inspiring, and I put this dusting gift here because we really love you. We really thank you for everything. We have been in some amazing workshops with like presidents of universities giving tips on us on how to argument with our professors. We had how to change the world workshop that was really helpful regarding curricular change. And I think we have that on the Climate Students Library. You should watch it, it's amazing. And personal guidance as well. Uniclima has faced some struggles, as I mentioned, and we also had like support from them when we had a situation we couldn't solve. They would really help us. Also, we had some really important personal gains and improvements participating in Climate Students. We developed skills, soft and hard skills. We have this community sense and activism, which is essential because this cause is so difficult and so give us so much anxiety. So Climate Students is a source of inspiration, ideas, networking, and meeting new initiatives that can give us alternatives to move forward. And at last, the online library is amazing. We used a lot of their resources and examples of documents that really helped us to have strong arguments regarding climate change and demands from youth. So it is amazing to have that kind of knowledge together on a link. So thank you for that. You can move on, Nisha. If you got any questions for us or suggestions, please go for it. We are learning by doing, and you are amazing. And if people don't have questions, we would like to end our presentation with the questions for the participants. but feel free to let us.
I think we are a little short on time, so maybe we can't go to the question. But I think Pascal has his hand raised. Do you have a question, Pascal? Maybe we can quickly run through that and then close up today's session.
Yeah, it's not a question, it's actually a recommendation. Yes, in your presentation, there was something you depicted on how environmentalists and people who are into climate or biodiversity conservation issues are completely on high risk, or they are threatened or even sometimes killed. But I think maybe you can change the strategy. Okay, sometimes in tackling such strategies in environmental conservation, we have the bottom top strategy and then the top bottom strategy. Yeah, and I see most of these people who are being threatened, it's as a result of employment of the bottom top strategy. People tend to advocate for environmental conservation or climate related change policy issues from what? From the grassroots level or from the local level. And maybe the recommendation could be that you can use the top to bottom strategy where you find that most of the advocacy can come from the high level resolution organizations like UN, let's say, for instance, like the COP, Conference of Parties. Yeah, like for instance, those guys who are going in Egypt for the COP27.
Yeah.
And yes, definitely, that's where your advocacy in environment conservation would come from. And with such high level policy formulation organization, then they would push the ideas to your government, and then the government would find it, or maybe the private investors, maybe I can call them the bad guys against environment conservation, would find it so much not easy to resist it, because you find that if people from the ground or from the grassroots community advocate, it is very easy for those people, the bad guys in environmental conservation, to stop them or to halt them with maybe life threats. So you can see how you can try to connect. Maybe this is also a platform. The climate science student, it's also a platform where you can use. I also had you say something on social media. It is also very important. You can as well get to link to different environment conservation or climate change activist platforms. There is a famous one I normally see, it is Yango. So those are the policies that can help you employ the top bottom conservation policy advocacy strategies, and it would be better. Thank you.
Thank you, Pascal.